Relaxed interviews can be just as revealing as heated press conferences, sometimes even more. When the room feels friendly, the guard comes down, and people fall back on their natural habits. Today we're breaking down how Cleveland Browns starting quarterback Shedeur Sanders handles a calm, comfortable conversation, and why comfort can reveal just as much as confrontation. In our last breakdown, we looked at Shedeur in a tense post-game press conference. Fast questions, quick responses, and a room full of people ready to pounce on a headline. This interview is completely different. This is the Browns' internal media team. Softer energy, more praise, more space to talk. And for a quarterback who went from 5th round pick to QB4 to QB1, this kind of environment tests a different part of leadership. In this breakdown, we're walking through the interview one question at a time. We'll study what he says, how he frames it, and what it reveals about how he sees his situation. There's one moment in this interview that tells you more about his mindset than any stat line. We'll get to that. This interview opens with a big story, being named the starting quarterback. In a relaxed setting like this, many players treat this as a validation moment. But for someone who climbed from QB4 to QB1, how he talks about the job can tell you whether he sees it as a privilege or a responsibility.
Shedeur, what did that mean to you when you got the news that you are the starting quarterback of this team the rest of this season?
What I'm listening for here is where he places the weight, on personal achievement or on the work ahead.
Oh, I was just focused on next game. So that's cool, but it's like I just focus on doing being the best player, being the best teammate, being the best leader for the team, while I have it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really look forward. That doesn't give me security, Yep. It's more about going out there, playing a great game, going out there, go out there, try to win a game, and be the best teammate I could be.
He frames the role as responsibility, not reward. There's no sense of arrival here. Instead, he talks about preparation, leadership, and the work ahead. Even the phrase, "while I have it," signals awareness that the role is earned daily, not owned permanently. That combination of humility and accountability sets a steady tone at the very start of the interview. The next move is one of the soft traps you see in friendly interviews. Pile on the praise, stack his stats next to big names, and invite him to elevate the moment. These questions feel positive, but they can easily turn a player inward instead of team-focused.
I know that the result was not the result you wanted, but you just did play a great game against the Tennessee Titans, 364 yards passing.
Yeah, that's cool now, but we'd rather take the W.
Of course you would. That is a given, and I know you would say that. But what clicked for you in that game as you've kind of seen your progression here as a Brown starter? To put up, listen, it's historic. The only other rookie that's ever done that in their career is Joe Burrow, to have over 300 yards passed, 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown in a game. You now have 4 pass plays and more than 50 yards in your first 3 starts. Only quarterback who's done that since the year 2000's Aaron Rodgers. So you're doing some historic stuff. What clicked?
Here I want to see whether he takes his response towards self-promotion or stays centered on the team and the work.
For you
I never thought I'd hear that.
No? Well, it's true.
Not a few months ago I wouldn't think of that. But I know I have it in me, but it's just, I'm just thankful that I was able to showcase it.
Rather than leaning into praise, he redirects the conversation away from himself. He acknowledges the moment without claiming it. That restraint matters, especially when the interviewer is placing him alongside elite names. It shows comfort without ego and confidence without self-promotion. Next, the interviewer asks Shedeur how he's grown since the preseason. This is one of those open-ended questions that can go in a dozen different directions. A lot of players default to safe cliches here. You'll hear things like taking it one day at a time, trusting the process, or just trying to get better every week. None of those answers are wrong, but they just don't tell you much. So this becomes a moment where you can either stay generic or reveal something real.
You certainly did. So when you think about kind of, you and I talked before that preseason game in Carolina. When you think about from that time to today and what you're doing now in regular season games, kind of what has been your development? What's been the biggest thing that's changed that's allowed you to have this success? Because you've always had the talent.
The angle he chooses here reveals how he interprets progress. Is it through mechanics, through knowledge, or through perspective?
God.
And how has that helped you?
Kept me going, kept me sane, kept me able to go in a situation, that's probably not something that anybody, would kind of want to be in, like being a 4th quarterback and doing all that type of stuff and being able to wake up and go to work every day and just be thankful.
Did you always know that you were going to get a shot, that if you just kept doing what you needed to do, that you were going to get an opportunity?
I had no plans. I just went and did what I have to do every day and just left it up to God. Like I tend to not even worry about that type of stuff because it's not my control. So I was never, ever at any point wanting anything to negatively happen to anybody.
Sure.
You know, like that's not kind of like my character, and that's not kind of what I wish on somebody, because like out of all the quarterbacks, like we all young, we all chasing our goals, chasing our dreams. So it's like to have some type of spite that somebody else is in a position that you're not in, you know, I don't think that's a good thing.
Right.
So that's when, you know, when mentally I got in that place and have that type of understanding that be there and support everybody, you know, and if you get out there and you're able to do your thing, but while you're not, you know, never have any negativity, never have any hate in your heart, never feel any different type of way.
Instead of listing mechanics or milestones, it's interesting that he defines growth through perspective. That choice tells you how he measures progress internally. He's less focused on visible improvement and more focused on stability, grounding, and mindset. So whether you agree with that approach or not, it reflects a leader who prioritizes internal alignment before external results. Now the interviewer shifts into chemistry with the receivers. On the surface, this sounds complimentary, but underneath, it's touching on something that's been debated around his game, his pocket presence, specifically drifting backwards in the pocket. When Shedeur talks about trust here, he's not speaking abstractly. He's tying his movement in the pocket to how confident he feels and where his receivers will be. And what stands out is that he acknowledges something most players don't say out loud, and that is, trust usually takes time, and he doesn't have time. That framing subtly reframes the criticism. Instead of talking mechanics, he's talking relationships. Whether you agree with that or not, it tells you how he's processing this moment.
Worth of reps. Are we seeing that start to come? Because, you know, you and Jerry, for example, you talked about that with Jerry Jeudy, and then boom, you guys hit that 6-yard. That's one of the most beautiful plays you'll see in the NFL this season.
Shedeur could take his response here toward mechanics. Instead, listen to what he consistently brings the conversation back to.
It's just faith and trust. I don't think we have enough time to know what we're thinking in every situation.
Right.
That's what that's how I play. That's how I thrive. That's how in Colorado was able to do, and Jackson State be able to put up the numbers, and because each and every receiver, I was able to really get in their mind and understand them every thought on the field. So whenever you don't really have that, and that's fine. Like I would never be one to complain about that, because everything happens for a reason,
right?
And it takes time. But you got to approach the game a little different. You know, you can't approach the game how you've been approaching it, you know, your whole life, because it's not the ideal situation for your whole life. So you kind of have to, I would say, have a little faith. You know, have a little faith and trust that they're gonna get on spots. That's what helps you play on time. That's what helps you step up in the pocket. That's what helps you do a lot. Any quarterback that understands, you know, when the footwork get bad and all that, it's really comes from a lack of trust. It don't come from a lack of awareness or lack of anything.
Sure.
You know, so if you're able to do that in 1 week, you know, then it's not bad pocket awareness. It's not that. It's just like you got to be able to have that trust. You got to be able to have that you got to be able to see everything out the same lens.
And when you say trust, like there's probably a lot of layers to that, right? It's trusting what you see, number one.
Yeah. So it's not just like, oh, I don't trust receiver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not that at all.
Trusting the line, trusting what you're seeing.
Nah, and it's not even just trusting the line. It's trusting that they'll be in the spots at that time when I'm seeing from getting spots. So during the game, that's when we communicate. We say, hey, it's a little quicker game today, you know, like speed up, get your eyes around faster. You know what I'm saying? Like it's those different moments to where y'all have a feel for each other.
Yeah.
This is a revealing moment because he takes the answer somewhere the question never went. The interviewer asks about chemistry, but Shedeur chooses to address pocket presence on his own. That tells you what he's been carrying mentally. He reframes criticism not as a mechanical flaw, but as a trust and timing reality. By referencing earlier stops at Jackson State and Colorado, he's not deflecting, he's contrasting environments. Trust usually takes time, and he openly admits he doesn't have that luxury here. That's not excuse making, that's situational awareness under constraint. Anytime an interviewer highlights chemistry with one player, there's a subtle team dynamic at play. Praise one guy too much, and others take note.
Seems like one guy that you do have a really good feel with is Harold Fannin.
I want you to watch here how he answers this question without dividing the locker room.
And you guys have been.
I guess Harold's opening to read.
He gets open, he gets the football from you.
Yeah.
Shedeur navigates this carefully. Rather than elevating one player, he frames the connection through reads and structure. Trust is still there, but it's expressed through the system, not through naming favorites. That protects team dynamics. It acknowledges chemistry without creating hierarchy. Moments like this quietly reinforce unity and signal that success comes from preparation, structure, and shared trust, not personal preference. Here the interviewer gives Shedeur a chance to highlight week-to-week growth. This is usually where players list off mechanics or drills.
Work on, and it feels like you've seen it, whether it be making sure you don't come out of the back pocket, climbing the pocket, ripping it with a little anticipation in the middle of the field this past week. I mean, you did such a great job with that. Is that kind of the way that you approach it, is to get a little bit better each week? Like, do you pick something to focus on?
I want you to listen closely to what he anchors to again here, the thread that ties his mindset together.
I pick focusing on how can we build that trust.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Everything boils down to that.
Yeah.
So that's where you're able to step up. That's where you're able to do all those different types of things. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I just feel like you have to understand me more as a person, then you'll really understand my style.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of there. It's just a understanding,
Because who you are bleeds into how you play. Is that what you mean?
I'm a person that trusts. If we trust each other, I'll be able to give you my best. If I don't trust you, then it's going to be hard to give you the best. That's just human traits.
Yeah.
So that's what it all boils down to. You just, like, when you understand me as a person, then you'll be able to understand how the playing style is able to represent you.
Yeah.
You hear the same theme again. He organizes improvement around trust rather than short-term fixes. Instead of talking about isolated weekly adjustments, he frames growth as cumulative and relational. That tells you how he thinks about leadership over time. It's a long view approach, even while operating in a short window environment. Next, we get into his extra work with the head coach. This is where you see how a quarterback learns, not just what he does, but how he processes guidance.
Well, it feels like we're getting there, because that was a very prolific game this past week. I wanted to ask you something about, in terms of just your development coming into the NFL. You've talked about it, and Coach Stefan's talked about that. You guys have spent a lot of extra time together. What are you trying to accomplish in those sessions, or what are those sessions about, and how has that helped you get to where you are now?
What he says here reveals how he approaches coaching. Does he just memorize plays, or does he seek deeper understanding?
I would definitely say that being able to ask the questions that I need to ask the questions, because I have a lot of questions, you know what I'm saying? Because I hear if somebody says, do this, then it's like explain.
Yeah.
So I could have because I feel like in words and communication, a lot of words, if you say a sentence or you see a picture, basically, and we're looking at the same picture, we can see two different things.
100%.
So if we read the same sentence, we could think two different things. So to have a deeper level of understanding for exactly what you're saying, that's when I'm able to ask those different type of questions.
Yeah, and get you the answer so that you can...
So I could have a better understanding of exactly what you're looking for.
This response highlights how he learns. He's not satisfied with instructions alone. He wants intent, clarity, and shared understanding. That curiosity matters at the quarterback position. It suggests someone who isn't just executing plays, but actively shaping how information translates into decision-making. Now the interviewer widens the frame. He moves away from mechanics and chemistry and starts asking about the moment itself. Meaningful December games come with playoff implications and emotional weight. Questions like this are designed to zoom the lens out to see whether a player frames the moment as something bigger than himself or simply as the next task in front of him.
All right, next few games, you're going against teams that are playing for their playoff lives. Chicago, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. I know you're focused on Chicago, but is that an exciting challenge for you to be able to take? That's a next step, right, to go against these teams that they're playing meaningful football in December. This is meaningful football for you to be able to put something like that on a bigger stage.
In a relaxed interview setting, this is where some players talk too loosely, but watch the steadiness here.
Any game is meaningful.
Absolutely. It's the NFL.
Yeah, so
they're all meaningful.
That doesn't add any extra motivation.
Yeah.
That doesn't add any extra motivation. It's just like I'm thankful to be able to play, and I'm motivated by being able to have an opportunity to go out there and play. So whoever the opponent is, it could be Satan himself, and I'll be out there ready to go.
What is it?
There's no extra motivation when it come to anything. It's just like I'm just thankful to be able to out there. Thankful that God gave me a different lens to see out of. Thankful that I have a different viewpoint of a lot of things.
He refuses to inflate the moment. Even when the question invites big picture framing, he keeps the focus narrow and task-oriented. That consistency aligns with everything he said earlier. The language he uses about even Satan himself may grab attention, but the message underneath is discipline and emotional control. The interview closes with a feel-good question about global fan support. These questions seem simple, but they reveal how a player handles praise, attention, and emotional framing.
What does it mean to have the support that you have from the fans of this organization, really fans of football around the world? I had a buddy who flew in from Australia. This is true. I don't know if you saw when you were warming up, we were walking right behind you because he wanted to get close to Shedeur and see you, but flew in from Australia to see you and to see this football team. What does that mean to you to have the kind of support you do?
Questions about fan support seem harmless, even flattering, but they quietly test something important. Can a player acknowledge admiration without letting it shift his center of gravity? This is where gratitude and focus have to coexist, and how he balances that tells you a lot.
Yeah, I'm truly thankful for the support, and I'm truly thankful for everything, but personally, I have to stay focused and stay within my own realm, within my own way of thoughts and what I need to do, to be successful and to be able to make those people proud and make those people happy. So whenever I hear those things or whenever I see certain things, that I'm truly thankful for, but I don't really understand what I have because I'm so focused on what I need to do, what I have to do, so you always have time to look back and be able to truthfully understand the level, but whenever you're deep in something, you have a different level of focus to where you can get caught up in that. So I'm thankful for the support. I'm thankful for the fans. I'm thankful for everybody, that believes in me also, and that believes in the team, and this organization. So I'm just got to do what I got to do, to make sure y'all proud.
Shedeur acknowledges the support without letting it shift his internal focus. Gratitude is present, but it doesn't become a distraction. He recognizes the moment while staying anchored in his responsibility. That balance between appreciation and concentration is difficult to maintain, and it fits the leadership pattern we've seen throughout the interview. So when you step back and look at this interview as a whole, a clear pattern emerges. Shedeur doesn't chase moments, he doesn't overreact to praise, and he doesn't shift responsibility. His communication stays restrained, consistent, and intentional, even when the room feels comfortable. Compared to the post-game press conference we analyzed earlier, this environment was softer, friendlier, and more controlled. And even in that comfort, he stayed grounded in gratitude, focused on trust, and careful to frame performance through relationships, not just results. At one point in the interview, he says he has been given a different lens to see things through. And whether you agree with him or not, this interview gives you a clearer picture of what that lens looks like in real time. Whether you are a Shedeur fan or a skeptic, he is becoming a compelling case study in leadership and communication under different kinds of pressure. And that's what we're here to study. Not just what players say, but how they see the moment they're in and how that perspective shapes the way they communicate. If there's another interview or moment you want us to break down, drop it in the comments. This is Press Room Breakdown, where we slow the room down and study how the message gets made.